for appearing before the committee today. Congratulations on your nominations. Mr. Kendall, I want to direct most of my questions towards you. First, an issue that has long been a concern of mine, on which I've worked with Senator King, is the Air Force shortage of pilots. This is a perennial concern. It drives up operations tempos for our personnel while decreasing their quality of life, causing some of them to leave the force altogether. What are your thoughts on this recurrent issue and how we can address what a previous service chief has referred to as a crisis?
Sir, I'm aware that there's a shortfall. It's on the order of 2,000 pilots, I believe, and it is an issue that I would certainly address as a high priority if confirmed. There have been some issues, I think, with planning as we've moved through the COVID experience and the airlines have shut down. That's given the Air Force a temporary break, but they may have overplayed that. So it's something I want to look at carefully. There are a lot of possibilities for increasing the flow of pilots into the pipeline. Minority pilots in particular are relatively short numbers in the Air Force, and I think we can do something about that. So I'd be happy to work with you on that issue. I agree with you, it's very important.
Yeah, thank you. One point I would make, and this is something we learned in our sensing sessions with pilots, is that a common solution is putting more money into pilot compensation. And look, our pilots are never going to turn down bonuses to stay in the Air Force, and we should recognize their service. But at root, we can't compete against the salaries that private airlines or aviation companies are going to offer pilots. We need to recognize, in my opinion, that these young men and women join the Air Force to fly high-performance aircraft in defense of our nation. And the more we can do to get more pilots in so they're flying more and doing other routine administrative duties less, the more we can contribute to their quality of life. The second question, Mr. Kendall, the Air Force now has a fleet with an average age of 30 years. What are your thoughts on how to improve acquisitions so that we can ensure the Air Force is prepared to fulfill national security requirements with technologically relevant and reliable fleet of aircraft?
Senator, the age of the aircraft is an issue. I think the number I heard was 28 years, roughly 30 years. There are two things you can do about that problem. You can get rid of the old airplanes, and you can buy new airplanes. And I think we need to take a look at both of those, quite frankly. I mentioned earlier how we manage risk over time in the department. And one of the things that I think we should look at is getting rid of some near-term capability in order to have more longer-term capability. But that's a trade-off that I would be interested in, certainly, if I was confirmed.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I am broadly supportive of what the Air Force has proposed over the last couple of years in terms of modernization, and some of that does involve divesting in older aircraft. To be clear, not every old aircraft needs to be divested, and some very old aircraft are still performing vital missions and performing them effectively and safely. But as you say, some of these older aircraft are probably going to be we're going to need to divest them so we can invest more in cutting-edge technology. One final question, Mr. Kendall. Last December, there was a very concerning report released by the National Commission on Military Aviation Safety. It states that we've lost 224 lives, 186 aircraft, and almost $12 billion to training accidents in just 7 years. What are your thoughts on what the Air Force can do to prevent such accidents and deaths in the future?
Senator, I have not seen that report, but that sounds unacceptable to me, quite frankly. You know, we overall, in the military in the U.S., have had a very good record for flying and mishaps. But and I know it's a source of constant attention in the Air Force. A lot of focus is placed on that from my previous experience. But I will take a look at that report, and I will see what kind of corrective action is necessary and can be implemented if confirmed.
Yeah, I think it would be well worth your time to review that. I have my concerns that one possibility is that we're shortening training timelines in part because of the shortage we discussed earlier, and that we're relying too much on augmented reality or other simulator training in place of actual flight time in the aircraft for our junior aviators. My time has nearly expired. Thank you all again for your appearance. Mr. Kendall, thank you for your answers. I look forward to supporting your nomination.
Thank you.
Thank you.